Are you struggling with golden items in D4? Well, you can always throw your wallet against the wall. Use my code for a discount. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel once again. So today we are gonna have a look at the patch notes for the mid-season patch 1.4.3 and what it means for Barbarian. And let me tell you, these are some huge changes. We are getting buffed through the roof. Like absolutely insane changes. So this will be like very copium positive kind of video, but because of that I would actually like to start with one negative, okay? And the patch notes literally start with this negative, and it's the developers note. So they said the changes in this patch are aimed at buffing classes and builds that are not performing as well as their counterparts. Now they said this and then buffed the strongest barbarian build that exists. It doesn't matter whether you're playing Flay Holy Bolts or pure Flay, both of these builds have the highest clear in the pit in the world. So it's good that they buff them because that's what I'm playing, right? And I know a lot of people who are now playing Flay because yeah, it's just fucking awesome, right? But it also means they have no idea about the state of the game. They have no idea what's performing good or bad, and thus any balancing they do is probably not gonna be good. You know, let's just like thinking about the future of the game. If the developers, if Blizzard has absolutely no idea what's good and what's bad, how can they ever give us good balance, right? And if they want to add, and it seems that they will with the expansion endgame content like PvP arenas, and they don't know how to balance because they have no idea what's good or bad, then it will simply, you know, it can end up very negatively for the game. So I like, with this out of the way, let's just get to all the positive changes that we got. And yeah, we can start with the general ones, and that's healing potions got buffed, and that's awesome because the initial healing was pretty much nothing, right? And so they buffed it by 50% for the minor, then by 100% for light and moderate. And then for the strong, greater, major, and superior healing potions, they buffed it by 200%. And yeah, this is a great change for, yeah, pretty much everyone. So that's awesome. Ancestral unique items and Dariel Visage. So Poison Nova now spawns on the enemy instead of the player, which is awesome. And Poison Nova damage is increased by 50%. So there are not so many builds, and definitely no Barbarian builds actually using Undariel, but there are some rogue builds using this, and I can imagine even maybe some druid builds using this. So this is definitely a great change for those off meta builds. Doomringer Shadow Explosion damage increased by 100%. I mean, apart from hardcore, where you might want to use Doomringer to be immortal and not lose your character, I don't think there's absolutely anyone using Doombringer. You know, especially Barbarians. This is just a huge DPS loss, and we can get, you know, survivability from other sources. So this is kind of like useless, but it's still a buff, so why not? Ring of Starless Skies, the maximum stacks were increased from 4 to 5. So that means 50% damage increase and resource cost reduction. This is absolutely awesome if we ever get tempers that actually boost our core skills, right? Like right now, at least for Barbarian, you don't need a core skill. Every single core skill, which should be the strongest ability in the game, is useless, you know, in comparison to basic skills, because basic skills got tempers increasing damage, core skills only got like utility tempers, right? But once they fix that, and I think they will, and they definitely should, then this is an awesome change, and I can't wait to be able to play Rent again with this buffed Starless Skies. Ethereal Smite, Divine Barrage damage increased by 100%. That's also great because the damage from the Ethereal Smite is not as good, but like the survivability that Ethereal Smite can give you you know, through boosting your elemental resistances, which is like most of the damage in the game is actually elemental, you know, or most of the damage that can kill you is elemental. And this is you know, making Tyrell Smite good is a great change. I don't think this is enough to like use it over Harrogate, for example, which is, you know, full reset on all of our abilities when we use Rupture in AoE, right? And it helps in single target as well. So I think Tyrell Smite still needs like more, you know, like bigger buff, but this is definitely, you know, the right direction for the item. Now, and this is probably the best change. I love you, Blizzard, for this. It's absolutely awesome. And that's stat requirements for non-main stats reduced from 90 to 60 per Paragon board. Now, most of my boards are like 6 or even 7 Paragon boards, you know, set up. And so this is absolutely awesome because right now I need 620 willpower to reach the latest rare node in my build. You know, that gives me DR. And now, you know, it will be reduced by 30 per board. So it will be reduced by 150 because I don't think the first board counts. But we'll see. So at the very least, it will be reduced by 150. That means 470 willpower to proc that node, which is absolutely easy to get. We no longer need any willpower in like gems or on gear, which is what I used before when I wanted to become really tanky, especially early game when my gear was not as good, you know. So I really did not want to use 8% of DR, and now we're just getting that 8% DR just for free with this one change. Absolutely awesome. I absolutely love this. Now for Barbarian itself, so whirlwind damage increase and violent whirlwind damage increase as well. This is awesome because whirlwind is very great for like farming Hell Tides, the Goblin event, or like, you know, dungeons in general, even like low pit or like lower pits, you know, because it's like so nicely branded. You just spin to win, you don't do anything, you know, especially with like the Dust Devils from whirlwind and everything. It's awesome for AoE speed farm, you know, like for Hell Tides. Absolutely wonderful thing. Call of the Ancients boosted on, you know, all of the Ancients abilities, and then the damage increase that you get from having Call of the Ancients up. Now this is also awesome. Like there's not so many builds using this right now, but we can easily with Call of the Ancients cooldown reduction on our ring reach 100% uptime. So we can get 100% uptime on, well, the Ancients and their stunts and everything, as well as 20% attack speed and 25% damage increase. So any build that can actually fit this in will greatly benefit from this change. So that's awesome. Frenzy damage increase, we don't really use Frenzy, but it's still nice buff. And yeah, as I said, Flay, good buff. This is absolutely bonkers. Bleeding damage over time increased by 8%. We are already like, I don't have like my gear compared like to the guys clearing 140 plus is trash, right? Like the gear they have is absolutely insane. And yeah, you either have to be super lucky, super good trader on Diablo trade, or spend like $1,000 to get that gear, you know. So, and they are already hitting for like 3 billion for the, you know, tick damage. I'm only hitting for like 2.5, 2.6 billion. Okay, so this is insane change. Enhanced stuff like vulnerable duration increase from 3 to 5 seconds is also awesome. You know, that really ensures that 100% uptime on vulnerable, at least in single target. Battlefly, bleed damage bonus increase from 10 to 15%. Like, that's just so insane. That's so insane. And depending on how much the Holy Bolt is actually nerfed, you know, if it's not that much, then Battlefly will even buff the Holy Bolt's Berserk Ripping builds. Right? It's just, that's just absolutely insane. And then Combat Fly, that's not something we use, so We don't really have to care about that, though it's still a great change that gives us you know, more DR, and it might definitely have some use maybe in the future, right? But this, like, this is absolutely bonkers. Like, that will skyrocket us to 150 billion rupture if you get the good gear. Like, I'm positive 150 billion rupture, easy. Okay, then some passive pressure point, lucky hit. Your core skills have up to 10% chance to make enemies vulnerable. Then we get weapon mastery skills added to that as well. Tough as nails gives us more bleeding damage, you know, through thorns, so that's also great. Then we have buffs to Walking Arsenal, which I don't think anyone really uses. But still, again, a great change, right? Because damage per unique source of weapon damage increased from 10 to 12%. So in general, we have dual wield, you know, then we have slashing and bludgeoning weapon. So that's 6%, you know, multiplicative damage increase. Why not? Why not? Like, we want buffs, right? And there are definitely some people who enjoy doing off-meta builds, so this is a great change. Aspect of tempering blows. Okay, I don't think people use this too much. Slaking aspect. Now, another great change for Rend once we hopefully get tempers for it, right? So this stays the same, the chance to get 20 fury when Rend deals direct damage, but now it was changed to any core skill. Okay, any core skill, so that's great. And your max fury is increased by 5 to 20. So because Rend is usually played with Ramaladni, then this is just another source of damage, another source of fury, which means that it will further, together with the change to Starless Skies, make it easier to sustain fury without any generator on Rend. Absolutely, absolutely awesome. Dust Devil's aspect, Whirlwind Dust Devil damage increased by 100%. Again, awesome synergy with the Whirlwind damage increase that we had before, because yeah, this aspect, Whirlwind, you know, and Leap, like, that's like the best build you can get for like farming Helltides. You're just zooming around, just spin to winning, you know, killing everything in AoE. Absolutely, absolutely awesome. And then aspect of Relentless Armmaster, so that's, you know, more buff to Walking Arsenal. So yeah, these are the changes for Barbarian. We got some more changes on like the unique items, but we don't really use these. We got buff to Gores, but you know, an Ancient's Oath, but the unique items in general are kind of bad, right? I think they need complete rework, like complete rework, okay? Because normal items with aspects and, you know, all the tempers that are like build defining mean that we don't really want to use many of these, if any at all, right? Like, sure, like Shaco or Harrogate, for example, for the bleed builds to have 100% uptime on everything, you know, those are great, but anything other than that, we don't really use, right? Like, imagine using like Banished Lord Talisman over a normal amulet that now can give you, you know, imposing presence for insane amounts of damage, crit strike damage, you know, GA on the crit strike chance, and, you know, double passives and all that. That's like, gives you so much more of everything than unique items, right? So I think unique items, complete overhaul. If they don't give us complete overhaul, then that's you know, they are not going to be used because they're just not good, right? And then we also have changed to the Holy Bolts. Let me just find it, and I think this will actually be easier if we do Holy Bolts. So bug fixes, okay? Fixed an issue where Holy Bolt's elixir's damage was scaling unintentionally high when it was triggered from pets such as Necromancer's minions. So what they did is that the Holy Bolt's elixir now deals a percentage of our weapon damage rather than percentage of the enemy's health. Okay, and so this change might make the Holy Bolt's elixir a bit weaker, but we don't really know, you know, how huge of a percentage will it take from our weapons? So with Blizzard, I would not be surprised if this turned out to be a buff. Especially for like Barbarian, okay? But like it is supposed to be a nerf, right? So that might skyrocket the pure Flay build even further, right? Even further. So that's it for today's video. I hope you are so excited about the changes that you enjoyed, you know, this video. And I'd like to thank you for all of your support. Like the support, especially this season, is absolutely through the roof. I still can't believe that I got so many views, so many likes, and so many people commenting on my videos. It makes me like so happy, and I will try to do my best to keep this trend, and I hope you will keep enjoying my builds, keep enjoying my videos, and see you in the next one. Ciao.